What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Season Gaming Bitcast, episode 373. Another fine Sunday, and the trio is back together to talk about a big week in gaming. And of course, coming back from a 2-week hiatus of doing law stuff and serving justice around the world, the lawman, the international lawman, is back. How we doing?
I'm good. It's funny. You take 1 week off and it's a 2-week hiatus, right? Because it's a weekly show. But you're not wrong. And I did want to say thank you to both of you for holding down the fort last week. Honestly, I wish I could tell people that I had a great story, but I needed to go world traveling or had an emergency of some kind that a lawyer was needed for. But honestly, after the quarter that I've been having in 2026, it was just the case that I needed to take that weekend and go full coma mode to just try to get enough power back to do this last week. So hopefully we're good for the future, but I really appreciate it last week. Thank you guys.
Of course, and all of this is a cover for his side job, of course, international lawman spy, as we know.
I saw him on top of a train.
I would be a terrible spy,
no doubt.
I gotta tell you.
Yeah, he was on top of a train fighting 4 goons on each side of him, just Tom Cruise style. It's pretty cool.
AI has made some advances, that's for sure.
That's right, yeah. And on his software, because he's part robot.
I believe the AI could actually depict me fighting goons on the top of a moving train, but it would.
Let's get on that, Tides. Let's get that on Tides. Can we get? Have you got video yet? Can we do Hogue fighting?
Oh my God, video goons? AI intros. Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I mean, it's getting pretty good. I mean, it's still, uncanny valley is hell, but you can get away with it. I mean, are the photos really any better? The photos are crazy. The photos are not good. Let's be honest.
Ty Guy, how we doing?
We're doing all right, man. I've had a week. I got a lot of stuff. I have a lot of stuff to talk about this week. Finally.
Good.
It finally happened. Cool.
It finally happened. Once a quarter, we get the Ty Guy
Once a quarter, we get to talk about some stuff. So that's fun.
Travis has not just been faking that he's been playing games behind the scenes.
It's true. Yeah.
No. In fact, he's talking about some things too soon, apparently, from what I hear. But
it's true. Yeah. No, we can talk about embargoes if we want. My bad, guys. Sorry, Blizzard.
Anyway, it's gonna be a good show. We had a big week for gaming, really. Quite a few things to talk about. So we'll hit on, obviously, the big thing is PlayStation State of Play. Big State of Play, actually.
Was that the biggest State of Play ever? That was crazy.
It was a pretty big one.
I think so. It was a big one.
Felt like E3.
Yeah, we kind of joked on the SG Discord of people were saying this is the best State of Play ever, which I laughed at, and then realized, of course, the bar was not super high for the State of Plays. So it might just be one of the biggest and best ever. So, but we'll get into it. We've also got you can finally talk about High on Life 2, I believe. I believe. I can talk about Reanimal, which I finished as well. And then we've got just another small update on Highguard and Wildlight, which we've got to touch on. But we've got a
one, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I feel like we've talked about it for 4 weeks running, so I don't want to belabor it, but bad news this week. So anyway, before we get to all that, we got to catch up with the community, of course. And the first super chat's coming in hot, man.
Let's go. Ains the Spill Man, €2. I hate when I spill my drink all over, man. Did you spill? Did I miss this?
That was last week. I picked up my cup of water, which I had 2 cups next to me. One was nearly empty, and then I switched to my cup of water, which was completely full. And I went to drink, and I just, while you or Luke were talking, spilled it all down my shirt. Yeah, it was good.
Nice.
Classy.
Oh, yeah.
So
I like Luke was on last week.
Luke was on last week, yes.
I forgot about that. I feel like I forget about Luke every time he's not in front of me. I don't have object permanence for that human. Just one person.
Because he's a vampire.
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. Yeah, he deletes himself from your memory.
Yeah, he just goes away. Yeah,
that checks out. So. Cool.
But thank you, our mysterious
that's some good
friend.
Luke lore.
I can't believe I haven't thought of that joke before. That's pretty good, honestly.
Thanks.
Thank you, our
segment on his show.
Our favorite.
It should be. Yeah, he should have a segment where he talks about himself and call it Luke's lore. Oh my god.
Oh, Luke, he's in the chat. Luke,
dude,
how does Xbox Expansion Pass not have Luke's lore? Come on.
Yeah.
Get it together.
We want to know about Luke. We'll forget it as soon as you're done saying it, but we want to hear.
Disappear into the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
His co-host just said I vetoed this.
Oh wow, I didn't know he had veto power. I guess we knew who wears the pants in the pod.
Thank you, our mysterious friend who always makes us laugh in the super chatting arena. Mr. Don Lionheart is here.
Don Lionheart, $5 super chat. Hello, 3 of 3 Bitcast crew. Dragon Quest VII Reimagined continues.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Very good game. Kiwami 3 Backlash is fascinating. Curious to see what they change when I play.
State of play.
Yeah, it's
State of play was fire. Okay.
You know, our main topic this week.
Well, dude, I was like, acronyms suck. All right, guys. Acronyms are stupid.
Yeah, if it makes you feel better, I thought it was standard operating procedure, and then I was like, that doesn't make any sense.
I was like, I don't know. I was like,
maybe he has a really good standard operating procedure.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
I got it on lock, gentlemen. My operating procedure is fire.
No kidding.
Yeah.
He has a follow-up, by the way, before we comment here.
But he's done. Of course he does.
Don Lionheart, $2 super chat. Napped through the Konami block. Rolling
I get crap for bad takes. Konami, speaking of fire, that thing was insane in the state of play.
Oh,
Don,
it's the best part of the state of play for me. Yeah,
Except
we
Rev
tore Don
Noir.
apart. We tore Don apart in the Discord over this. So we're gonna ignore.
Well, I've seen his draft picks, and I have doubts about Don's.
God, I think Don's gonna win. If I
Really?
if I were allowed to bet on this, I would be betting on Don.
I would not. He's got some wild picks. Didn't he counter pick
if you ever
Lords of the
been in
Fallen 2?
a fantasy football league or any other kind of league like this, you always have that guy that's drafting right in front of you in the spot and is constantly taking what you're planning to take. Don did that to me like 6 times. So it's like, okay, I love your team.
If he's taking all of your picks, he's for sure gonna lose. That's like all I needed to hear was that he was drafting the ones Hogue wanted. That's like that validates me so much, in my opinions.
Okay.
He counterpicked Lords of the Fallen. That's crazy. He's gonna lose so many points on that.
I very much hope, and I don't anticipate winning, but I very much hope that the end results from this year help stop this particular vector of attack from my co-hosts on the Bitcast.
That is not gonna happen. Let me tell
I don't know. I will say we have several people, I think, that have now placed their bets, or not bets, their votes on who's going to win. It's a good mix of people kind of throwing different teams around. So if you haven't gotten in on that action yet to win some prizes, do so on our Discord in the Fantasy Critics section.
For the record, I don't believe I'm the top 3 on any current bets in, which if we were in Vegas, we'd start getting a better line. Oh, I am.
You are now. I added a bunch yesterday. Yeah, I don't have it right in front of me, but yes, you are in the top 3 on at least 1 or 2 now.
Nice. All right. Thank you, generous viewers.
I am a little annoyed that a lot of the games I want to draft aren't on the list, and I've submitted a bunch of
there is one slot for an unannounced game. I don't know if that counts or not.
Well, I mean, they're really unannounced.
They're really unannounced. Yeah. Like they're not on the list because like one of them I previewed. I can talk about it now, but even now,
how you're trying to cheat to win the league. Yeah, got it.
I just if I want to draft a game, but
we're not requiring Travis to get a lobotomy of his previous experiences to play.
We should though. We should.
I mean, it would do me a little good. Let's be honest.
Don, thank you very much. We've got a comment from Cookie Monster Steve.
Cookie Monster Steve, member for 42 months. 3.5 years. Wow. Still so glad to be around, even when I miss so many lives. What?
He's been a member of Hogue's channel for 42 months. That's why.
Yeah, I'm curious. I get that part. I'm curious about the missing so many lives part.
The live stream.
No, missing so many live shows.
Oh, it's like, I was like, how many have you killed to be a member for 42 months? Every month I have to take one soul to remain on.
Channel requires sacrifices.
I was like, wow, Hoga's got high standards.
I told you I like Cult of the Lamb.
Yeah, still need for tabletop RPGs. Is that a complaint that you still don't have your Lawyers and Dragons show back, Hogue? Is that what that is?
I don't know.
Okay. It sounds like he wants more TTRPGs on his feed.
There you go.
It's possible.
Little feedback for you, buddy. In case you want to get old Leox fraud back in action, you know what I mean?
I would love to get the gang back in action. I got to be honest. It's not going to be for a little while yet. Still getting work stamina. Channel stamina is deprioritized to make sure I can feed the family and keep the lights on. We'll get there, but it's
didn't mean to bum everyone out. Okay, sorry about
that. All right, let's get to Tide's picks, of course. Which you guys tell me this week, man. I don't know.
All right, let's see it. Oh well, that's the Aurora Borealis. I think it's Winter Olympics, maybe.
Winter Olympics, yeah, that makes sense.
We could take swords and weapons to the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, well, we're apparently.
Have you seen the biathlon? We're one step away from swords in one of these sports.
I don't know. There's also like fantasy structures in the background. I don't think this is Winter Olympics.
It's Skyrim goes to the Olympic Games, just like Mario and Sonic. Anybody can go.
I mean, I look cool, but man, the headspace on this photo is insane.
They want you to see the aurora.
Why got my forehead res in this one?
I think it's stylized. I don't think this is like. I think it's supposed to be matching some sort of video game style. This doesn't look like Winter Olympics to me.
Could be Highguard.
Tide, let us know. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I can't guess this one. What? Kina? Maybe she tried to do Kina because that's our thumbnail this week.
Could just be winter. This could just be what the AI thinks all winter looks like.
I mean, that would be sick if that's what winter looked like.
The robots are just like, that's outside, right? Yes, robots.
Oh my God. Tide,
we all have to bring a sword when we go outside. Honestly, my life would be pretty improved if that were true. It'd be pretty cool.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. So, Travis, I'm going to pass to you this week first from currently playing, so you can tell us about High in Life 2, which at least anecdotally for me has kind of launched with a thud. I've seen nobody talking about this game. Yes,
as you guys know, I quite liked the first High in Life game. I thought it was a unique type of game. Good, it's funny. We don't get enough comedy games. All my usual complaints. It also had like a pretty great idea for a game, which is what if you had a shooter where all of your guns were talking celebrities making jokes the whole time. And I was like, hell yeah, that's a great idea for a game. But the headline of my review is sequels to comedies are always tough because you're kind of telling the same joke, and it requires a certain amount of discipline and creativity and a bunch of other things to make that work, which is why so many movie comedy sequels suck. Zoolander 2, guys. And really just like lots of them. And this kind of has the same problem. It's like a little bit of a joke you've heard before, a lot of the same kind of beats in it. And it also has a bunch of technical problems that you can see bore out in like the Steam reviews. I was playing with an early copy, but I can tell at this point when a game has so many problems, the day one patch is not going to cut it. And this was one of those where I was just like, yeah, they're not going to fix this with a patch in 3 days. Because we got our codes Monday and then the embargo lifted Thursday at 3 a.m. So I had like 3 days to burn through this game, write a review, yada, yada. And we hit it, but it was like, yeah, you're not fixing this in 3 days when the day one patch comes out. So that has happened as well. And then, it's got some interesting ideas. Like they give you skateboard in this one. And so you're like grinding rails and skateboarding around. And it kind of has like a little bit of a Tony Hawk Pro Skater thing in it while you're shooting, which is a cool idea. But it means that the sloppy gunplay from the first one is even sloppier because you're like also flying around the rooms constantly while you're shooting your inaccurate, not super snappy guns. Like the gunplay in the first game was not very good. And they improve it a little bit in terms of like mechanics, like the new guns feel better, but add in the fact that it's like diarrhea Christmas lights in every room because everybody's different colors and shooting all these like indecipherable purple blobs at you. It's just chaotic, right? It doesn't make for like a particularly cohesive combat experience. And so I gave this game a 6. I gave the first one an 8, so it's a pretty fair bit of a step down. It's mostly just like the story is less cohesive. The jokes don't land quite as often, and the technical issues are certainly not helping it at all. So unfortunately, a little disappointed in this one. I was really rooting for this game to be good because, again, I like comedy games. Anytime one comes out, I hope it's going to be good. And this time I can tell you it's okay. with the technical issues. Hopefully they'll get over that and maybe it'll be a little better, but I wasn't super impressed by this game, unfortunately. So that's my review of High on Life 2. It's it's more High on Life if you wanted that, but I wish they would have taken some more chances on this one.
It's funny because the humor not landing and the lack of cohesion is exactly how I would have reviewed High on Life 1. So if it's less than that, I got to believe that it's not worth my time or money right now, at least.
Yeah, I mean, if you didn't like the comedy in the first one, this is certainly going to be a step down. They do have really good moments in the game. Like there's this one boss fight where one of the bosses, he like can shrink himself and he goes inside your suit and then starts going inside your menu and messing up your settings. He's like messing with your sliders and stuff, turning like the volume all the way up and stuff, and you can like hear it in your ears, and you're like, oh, and you're like punching him out of the menus. And the boss is voiced by Richard Kind, which he's like the perfect voice for that boss fight. And then he goes into your BIOS and starts messing up all of your BIOS settings and stuff, and you're like there's like moments like that where you're like, I remember why I like this game. Like they just have like these super creative ideas for what a fight could be, but you have to get through a lot of stuff to get to those moments, and there just aren't enough of them. And so I think that's where the first game and the second game really stand out, is when you get to those like key moments where they have like just like a really killer idea for some goofy ass encounter, and you're like, this is peak. But there's just a little bit more like sludge to crawl through to get to those, and fewer of those like highs, more of the lows, unfortunately. So
okay. Well, it is on Game Pass. I know. If people
give it a try. It's also a short game. You can get through it in like 8 to 10 hours, something like that, if you're disciplined.
That's real short.
Yeah, I mean, that was the same with the first one. I think the first one was like 12 hours, and that was if you did a lot of stuff. So this one you can get through. It's just a straight up campaign. It has like 10 missions, and then you're done with it. So yeah.
Okay. Cool. Segueing then to Reanimal, which my review's not out yet. I'll probably write up something for either tomorrow or Tuesday on it, but I did finish it last night, and I finished it with there are some hidden things in the levels, which if you get all 4 of this one thing, obviously no spoilers, you do get what's considered, from what I've read anyway, the real or the canon ending to the game, which, believe me, after going through the ending, I don't think is going to help with any clarity for a lot of people, but it is it is Tarsier Studios. We've talked about this one, right? It's the studio that did Little Nightmares 1 and 2, and it's their follow-up. It is also 100% in co-op, so you can play it with a friend, and if you don't play with a friend, you have a AI companion the entire journey through the game. So it is exactly what you expect. Same type of game. You're going through these kind of creepy environments with these giant monsters and different things, little puzzles to figure out along the way. I will say, technically, for this type of game, it's very cool in the sense of the game design speaks more like an indie game, but you can tell the production quality is double AAA. The animation quality of the characters and the way they move throughout the environment, and especially the animated scenes for the big monsters. There's scripted kind of chase sequences and things like that. They're just incredible. Really, really fascinating. A few of them, I was just like, wow. I'm like yelling out loud while playing it. The lighting, as you would expect in a game like this, is pretty critical. They use lighting in a lot of kind of interesting ways, as well as the puzzles and everything else. And some of the sequences you get into between the animation quality, the lighting quality, the sound effects are spot on, and the sound design is really extraordinary. So that package of those things coming together when the game is really at its peak is pretty phenomenal. It's right up there. I really love Little Nightmares 2. I love them both, 1 and 2. For me, 2, I think, is exceptional. Overall,
you
as
didn't
a game,
like 3, right?
I haven't played 3. I own it. I haven't played it. But critically, 3 has come in quite a bit lower than 2. So I'm going to go and play 3 sometime soon, because I'd like to compare it now to Reanimal. But as an overall game, I don't have Reanimal as high as Little Nightmares 2. I don't think it has the same what I would call emotional impact to me from a character perspective. I really like what they did with the 2 characters in Little Nightmares 2. Whereas 3 or 3, whereas Reanimal doesn't seem to hit the same way for me, but it does definitely speak to some interesting things depending on how you want to take the visuals and the story. It gets really dark, as you would expect later in the game, and goes places you definitely don't expect it to go. So interesting game. I really liked it quite a bit. I'll probably end up giving it somewhere around an 8. But I gave Little Nightmares 2 a 9. So just to put some perspective to that. So, but other than that, yeah, really enjoyed it. And if you like those types of games, if you like Little Nightmares 1 and 2, I'm sure you're already aware of Reanimal, but I would definitely check it out. It's pretty impressive in a lot of ways.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I saw IGN gave it a 9, so they were even higher on it than me, which is cool.
I've heard good things from the people at IGN who've played it, so I definitely want to put this one on my backlog.
It's neat, and it's I forgot to speak on timing. So we were talking on our Discord yesterday. Someone had said they beat it in 3 to 4 hours. I don't think that's true. My Steam page shows 9 hours. Now I would say probably hour and a half to 2 hours of that was pause or walking away and doing something, So I would guess 6 to 7 hours if you want to actually find some of the little secrets around the areas and stuff like that. It's not super long.
But if you don't, 3 to 4 hours, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you're literally just running point to point, you could probably do it in 4 hours. But you're gonna miss some things along the way. So
it's not a combat game, right? It's a hide and escape.
It's not.
Game?
It's hide and escape. 90% of the time, there are a few things they add in this one which almost feel kind of strange to do. So I don't want to spoil anything because the level where you actually do some more unique things was a surprise to me, so I don't want to say it. But you do have a tiny bit of where you're like pressing X to throw stuff or whack at stuff. You get a crowbar at one point, you're like whacking birds and stuff. But there's a little tiny there's a few other things you do late in the game. There's one section that I don't want to spoil it. It's one section that you do more than just running and hiding, which I was like, oh, okay. I didn't think we'd be doing this, but it was still pretty cool. Yeah. There is a section where you go underwater, which I don't want to spoil either, but the delivery of that section and its technical quality between your movement, the sound, the lighting, it's phenomenal. It's really, really impressive. I was like, oh, this is crazy. So good for them. I hope it sells well for Tarsier. So, what else? Hogue, well, you weren't here last week. I'm sure you've got some games to talk about. Hit us with something.
I do. Well, I think the big ticket item that I would like to recommend to everybody is a narrative game from a studio I really like called Inkle that focuses on those narratives and storytelling. They came to my attention with a game called 80 Days a while back, where they reimagined Around the World in 80 Days with different stories for places. They made a new game that is, I don't know, psychological thriller library card research simulator called TR-49 that I am very taken with. The way it's telling its story is very, very interesting. It reminds me a bit of something like Immortality in the way that it wants to talk about storytelling and narrative as impacting people's lives. That's one of my favorite themes. Highly, highly, highly recommended. Just a very, very cool way to tell a story. I know Library Card Research Simulator doesn't sound interesting, but it is very, very cool. Could not recommend it more. Kind of spooky. It gets to you after a while. And so I had to play it through in different sessions, but it was by far the most compelled I was to play anything over this last 2-week period. So TR-49 is my big ticket item there. The second one I wanted to mention, which is an older game, I think it's from earlier last year, is a game called Starvaders. And if you haven't heard of this one, this is essentially a roguelike deck building game. I know you're used to hearing that from me. That is focused around kind of spatially keeping out space invader forces on a grid. So it's got all the best parts of the roguelike deck building genre. So it's got different characters that do different things and have different strengths and weaknesses, different cards to earn, different artifacts that change your roguelike run. And it's just a really big design space with a really cool game at its heart. So TR49, Starvaders, those are the ones that have really connected with me these last 2 weeks. Wow. From there, I have tried other things that have been recommended to me either by people in person. And I should say TR49 was recommended to me by a viewer of Bitcast. Cool. That was how I found it. So I always love that. Please keep those coming in my DMs. I can't find everything. Nobody on earth can find everything that releases on Steam or any of these other eShops.
I can.
I probably would have missed TR49.
You heard it here. Hogue wants you in his DMs.
I do. Slide into my DMs with video game recommendations, please.
It is Valentine's
I would appreciate
Day.
it. Yes, please do. But I should mention that the other ones that maybe didn't connect with me as much is a game that is very, very popular, got huge reviews this last week, called Mugenics.
Oh,
I love the guy that brought you, I think, Binding of Isaac. But this game is essentially a strategy role-playing game where you are building up teams of cats for no other reason other than to go and fight in alleyways and fight other cats and maggots and flies and rats and things, at least at the start. And the big sales pitch here is that when your cats come home from an adventure, they retire, and you can take them and try to get them to mate with each other in ways that have their offspring collect the skills that you really liked using. And they have a big design space of skills for these various cats and what they can do for you. Now, I think there's a great chance that this has a huge amount of design space to enjoy. That seems to be what people are reacting to in reviews. I haven't played it long enough to experience that. As we've talked about in the past, I need a little bit of propulsion at the beginning of a video game to tell me why I'm doing this thing for you. And at the start, this game is just like, here are some cats, go fight. The strategy role-playing aspect is perfectly serviceable, but nothing to write home about. It really lives in that design space of passives and actives and growing your cats in different ways to build a cat super army of some kind in the future. That's going to be a lot more hours of gameplay, I know. But at the start, didn't really connect with me, so I can't really give it high marks right now. Seems to have the space for it. The reviews indicate that it does use that space, but I haven't experienced it yet. So Mugenics is the big ticket item that hasn't worked for me yet. I anticipate it will some point, but
I'm on the other side for Mugenics. Mugenics is like crack for me. Like I played a couple hours and was like, oh no. I had to stop because I don't have time for it. But I know this was actually the first game Dan Stapleton reviewed as a freelance writer now that he's retired from his role as editor. And he played it for a month because they gave IGN code. They gave everyone codes like a month early. So he played it for like a full 30 days. I think he put in like over 100 hours into it. And I could see myself doing that because it's one of those things where it's just like, there's so much stuff hidden in that game. And if you're a kind of a strategy sicko, it's pretty nice. So I'm very excited to play a lot of this game, but it's gonna have to go on the eternal backlog. But I'm really I hope this thing comes to console too. I know that they almost bankrupted themselves making it for PC, but I hope it'll.
I don't think
it seems to be doing well enough to where it'll probably come out on other platforms.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It seems to be built for controllers, so I think that it'll have a space on the consoles.
It's definitely not my type of game, which is fine. But I did see critically, to Hoag's point, this killed it, right? It's like high 80s critically.
Stellar reviews.
So, yeah.
And to Travis's point, right? I'm just one guy saying this, that it didn't connect with me and it's not driving me, and I'm probably going to bounce off it, and we'll see later on. Is that everybody else in my Steam friends group is playing Mugenics, and everybody's times are going way past mine. Like, I see my brother, and it's like, Tom, when did you get a chance to play 9 hours of Mugenics in the last 2 days? But like, that's what's happening on my timeline. So it might just connect with you. It does appear to have that ability for folks. It just hasn't worked for me yet.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it's probably the biggest critical release this week, as you said. So
no, it's the top line item this week, I think. The other thing I've been playing that I still am kind of grappling with, I think I'm getting into it a little bit more now, is a game called Paranormasight, The Seven Mysteries of Hanjo. And this is coming from the fact that Nintendo Direct from a couple of weeks back announced that they were basically shadow dropping a sequel to this game. And in Paranormasight is a visual novel about essentially trying to kill people with your own curses before they kill you. And it's a really interesting take on visual novels. It doesn't have the same kind of interface that you expect from this genre, so it has a lot of space to give interesting visuals on top of interesting storytelling. I like it a lot. It's difficult to connect with for me because it is that kind of spooky Japanese village type of feel that I know I talked about before Silent Hill F came out. That is not my favorite vibe in the horror landscape. So I'm much more looking forward to the sequel about what appears to be European deep sea exploration and evil mermaids. So that's much more my vibe, as you know. So, but in the meantime, I have this game that I bought however many years ago that I know I didn't get very far in. So I've been re-engaging with Paranormasight the first, and really enjoying it a lot more than I did the first time in advance of the sequel coming out this coming week. So
cool.
I think that's it from what I wanted to mention. The big ones are Star Invaders and TR-49.
TR-49, by the way, I looked it up while you were talking. It's only $7 on Steam. So if you like the kind of experience Hogue was talking about in that vein with the storytelling, you can jump in pretty easily. So
really good stuff. Lots of secrets. Lots of chances to feel like you really outthought them on that one, obviously with design puzzles. But a lot of good stuff there. Maybe not 100% as clever as Immortality, which was my game of the year a few years back. But same kind of cleverness and just a really nice story.
Cool. Love it. Shout out, we got over 160 with us right now. As always, just a gentle reminder to tickle Google's buttons, hit that like button, share it out if you can. It helps us on both sides of the house, so we would appreciate it. All right. Let's see. Oh, Travis, real quick before we jump to the state of play, do you want to touch on Diablo 2? You're on mute, my friend.
Thank you. Yes, I do want to talk about Diablo and only Diablo 2, not Diablo 4 or
there are no other Diablos.
There's no other Diablos. Certainly
not for a while yet.
Certainly didn't completely fuck that up. And okay, so Diablo 2, or if you saw the Diablo stream this week, they announced a whole bunch of stuff. They announced the second of 2 character classes that's coming to Diablo, one of which is already playable, but is officially part of the Lord of Hatred expansion, the Paladin. And the second one is the Warlock, which is a new character to Diablo. And as part of that announcement, they showed off a little bit about the campaign, about this new character class, and also announced they're putting the Warlock into Diablo 2, a 25-year-old game, is getting updated, which is crazy. I was able to play as the Warlock in Diablo 2 in advance. I immediately realized I suck at Diablo 2 now. I have not played that game in maybe 15 years.
It doesn't hold your hand as much as 4.
No, and my footage was terrible. My footage was me figuring out how to play that game again. But it is really crazy because I got to interview the developers that worked on it, and they're basically like, painting over the Sistine Chapel here a little bit with making a bunch of changes, adding this character class that works very differently, and then also changing some content. They added like extra content,
like
and
the
kind
terror
of events.
zones are new, right?
Yeah. They added like new content to Diablo 2. Now, if you want to play the legacy version with no changes, that's still in the game, but this is another way to experience the game and kind of adds some new content to a really old game that people really love. I have friends that are not gamers, but they just like Diablo 2 because they were gamers back in the day. And so this is like huge news beyond just like the core gaming community. And it's pretty cool to see. It's fun. It was a really cool thing. It's also a nice way to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Diablo. And they have a pretty interesting year planned with Lord of Hatred, which I will have plenty to say about in the future, and certainly not before that on accident.
Got it.
My bad.
Look out.
My bad.
Well, to connect the dots on this, because people that are regulars in Bitcast know that I have said I play Diablo 4 a lot, and they've had an interstitial front screen that says if you get Lord of Hatred, you'll get the Paladin right now, which is what I wanted, and I've been running around with my Pally, but also that there's a new character class coming that will essentially bring the darkness back to Sanctuary. That does appear to be the Warlock now that that second character has been announced, and that is really cool as well. And that's not breaking any embargo because I don't know anything more than anything about that. But I also got the Warlock for Diablo 2 Resurrected. And just one point of clarity there, because Travis is correct in saying they added it to a 25-year-old game. If you go and you load up Diablo 2 onto your iMacs with the little plastic shells right now, you can't actually play the Warlock. They added it to their remake version of it, reimagined.
Resurrected.
Is it Resurrected? See,
It's
you got too many R words here, everybody.
Yeah, there you go.
Dragon Quest VII was reimagined. Diablo was resurrected.
Resurrected.
Yes,
yeah.
correct.
Okay, got it. Sorry about that, everyone. I hope you did not make any purchasing decisions in that brief 30 seconds where I was confused. But Diablo 2 Resurrected is a very cool approach to Diablo 2 as it stands. Running around with a brand new character class feels honestly surreal. And it's the entire package. So you get the little voice notes from the new character Warlock when you go into every new area, when you get the new quest lines. It's just like dropping in a brand new character into a game that I think is beloved by a lot of people. So this was the coolest announcement of the last week for me, was Blizzard just coming out and saying, we're adding stuff to Diablo 2. We're adding stuff to other places. It's really cool. I'm excited about basically all the anniversaries everybody talked about this week, and I know we'll get to the other one as we go on. But there's a lot to be excited about. This is the right way to celebrate your series, in my opinion.
Agree, especially something as seminal as Diablo 2 and celebrated as Diablo as a franchise. So I think it's really, really good. I'm super pumped about Lord of Hatred. I'm not diving back into Diablo 4 until that releases. And I'm going to just start fresh with my Pally.
Yeah, no, please
super
do.
excited about
Loot
that.
3.0 is pretty cool. Diablo 4 is on the road to greatness.
Travis, I'm just going to mute you until we're past this subject at this point.
Yeah, probably for the best. We'll talk later.
No, I'm pumped for it. In fact, I'm actually excited that it's coming later, because with Requiem and Marathon here in the next few weeks, Diablo 4 just sucks so many hours away that I'm going to have to really kind of dedicate myself to Lord of Hatred when that releases. So,
to Travis's credit, this reminds me so much of when I was doing the court commentary on Depp v. Heard with my lawyer friends who had all read through all the documentation and been following it for like a half decade at that point. And my role was to sit there and be the jury and just react to things as they came in. And there was always someone in the corner being like, oh, yeah, I was expecting Rick to react to that, or, oh my God, I can't believe he didn't know that. It's like, I'm just sitting here happily with just my outside experience, no insider knowledge of any kind. And Travis is in the corner being like, can't say anything, don't want to ruin anything, don't want to violate any contracts. Let's go.
Yeah, it is tough at times. So more on that in the future. But for now, we are going to go ahead and move over to the state of play, which is kind of our main topic this week, I think, for good reason. A lot of things to talk about. As we always say with shows like this, we're not trying to go line by line for every single thing that was shown or announced.
That'd be unwise.
So I've put quite a few of the what I would consider the biggest things on there. If I miss something, you guys obviously just call it out. Before we get to it, we've got Alex's thoughts. He super chatted a bit ago. I've been saving it for this topic. So Alex coming in hot. You're on mute again. We're past the Diablo topic.
I muted myself for Diablo. Sorry about that. Slayer Giant, $4.99 super chat. Easily the best state of play since they killed showcases in 2023. 30 games. Felt like Sony trying instead of coasting. Are we out of the Ryan/Holst doldrums? Great question.
So this is funny to me. In my opinion, the first half hour of this state of play, I was fully checked out. Like, I was not very interested in much of what they were showing. And I was like, okay, why do I tune into these? Because as people know, I'm just a hater. And I only tune in to these directs because I want to hate on whatever I'm seeing. I come in saying, please piss me off. I'm always sitting there hoping for greatness. But first maybe half hour, I was pretty tuned out. And when the Konami block started, which is one of the reasons I highlighted when Don complained about it, that like 4 or 5 trailers and announcements in a row, I was like, this might be the strongest I've felt about one of these in years. I mean, it was Metal Gear, it was Castlevania, it was Darwin's Paradox, it was all this great stuff in a row. And at that point, I said, whatever's going to follow that up is going to have a real hard time. And then it was the Marvel Tokon stuff. It was the God of War stuff. I tend to agree that this was one of the best state of plays they've ever done. I actually didn't realize that they killed the showcase format entirely. I guess I still consider like the state of play where they just focus on like Ghost of Yotei to be like a showcase. But yeah, this was out of nowhere, just really, really strong for Sony. And I wanted to say, as a side note here, I think even though the Nintendo Direct was maybe a little bit less than as the third-party publisher focused, that the Xbox Direct with the 4 games, this state of play, and the Nintendo Direct really make me feel positively about my 2026 of gaming and having a lot of different experiences out there. I really thought this was a strong sequence of 3 shows from the 3 main leaders.
Yeah, I generally agree. Pretty similar thoughts. I didn't have high expectations for the state of play. I don't think state of play has given me reason to have very high expectations more recently. But I think this was a very good show in the sense of there was a large amount of content here, and regardless of what you're into, there's probably something here for you. The one reason I went to Alex's comment here is Sony trying instead of coasting. The only thing I would call out here, and we'll talk about the games, of course, but when we say Sony, the vast majority of this show was third party. And so when I look at kind of PlayStation first party, sure, you've got the God of War remake announcement and you've got the new Kena coming, which I don't even know if that's considered first party, if not just kind of second party, whatever that may be with Ember Lab. Yeah.
No, it's got to be with an exclusive, right? Because the other Kena came out everywhere.
Yeah.
It came out on Xbox.
So I think from a PlayStation studio focus, it wasn't anything special. But again, I don't really care where the games come from. If they're good games, they're good games. So I would, with you, Hogue, as soon as Konami hit and we saw Castlevania, which was my game of show personally, saw the new Silent Hill, we saw these other things, I was like, oh my God, it's great to see Konami. They said a few years ago, if you remember, they were kind of building back up to getting back into gaming full force. And it seems like we're starting to hit that arc, which is great to see. But yeah, we'll talk about all that stuff. Travis, any quick comments before we dive in?
No, not really. I thought it was a good show.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alex, for the super.
Excited for pod racing. I guess that's my top comment. Pod racing?
I know you're hyped about that game.
Yeah.
So they opened the show, and our thumbnail this week is Kena Scars of Cosmora. So the follow-up to what the hell was the first Kena called? Bridge of Spirits?
Bridge of Spirits, and it's Kena.
Is it Kena? Oh, sorry.
Kena, okay. Bridge of Spirits.
Kena. Yeah. Scars of Cosmora. So larger game. I joked when they showed this kind of her riding the animal in this third person view. I was like, okay, so it's Kena Zero Dawn. I immediately got Horizon vibes, jokes aside, but it looks really, really good. The animation, everything we said about the first game from a production quality standpoint. But I like the idea of this being a bigger game with more kind of variety in what it's doing. I haven't played the first. I've heard mixed things. I had a couple friends say it was quite good. And then obviously I think critically it was kind of like just good, if you will, like, better than average type thing.
I would describe Kena as a very flashy 6 or 7. Like, It really depends on how much you give to aesthetically pleasing visuals. Like, you can see in this trailer for the sequel, you could see in the trailers for the original if you haven't played it. It's a very pretty style. They've really achieved something graphically. But as a game, design-wise, gameplay-wise, it wasn't really much of anything. I didn't see anything in this sequel trailer to suggest that they were going a different direction. Why would you if your first was so successful? So I still anticipate it being flashy, but otherwise a little bit hollow as an experience. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe they made vast strides. We've seen that in sequels before, but that's what I would be concerned about here.
My thoughts on Kena as a franchise was that the first game was like the type of game where you were like, okay, I want to see a sequel, right? Because you could see the potential. I thought the world building and some of the stuff they did was really cool. Like, it was a very pretty game, but
it's gorgeous.
Yeah, had a hollow kind of 1.0 game mechanics, give the studio a little bit more time to iterate on this type of feel to it. And so to me, that's like, cool, great first attempt. I hope you get to make a sequel so that I can see this turn into something that's like truly awesome. And fingers crossed that that's what they've created. I have no way of knowing until we get our hands on it. But like, Kane is the exactly type of game I think you like want to see a sequel on, because they haven't really explored all the stuff that you could see them exploring with that type of game. So fingers crossed. Like, I think it's the right type of game to get a sequel, and I'm for sure gonna play it.
Yeah.
I also really like the first one. It was like the first kind of, I don't know if you want to call it Souls-like, but it had difficult fights for some of the boss fights for my wife specifically. And so I watched her play this from that perspective of like retrying the bosses a bunch of times and stuff like that. So I think it has a unique kind of audience for like casual meets a little bit of like challenging yourself that I think is cool. So it exists in an interesting space for certain type of like gamer.
Yeah, it was harder than you would think for that graphic style.
Exactly. Yeah, it was like a kind of stepping stone, I think, for players who aren't interested in challenging games, getting a little challenge and maybe getting bit and wanting to explore more difficult games. So I kind of like that as well, how it positions itself. So I fingers crossed on this one, man. I'm rooting for this type of developer.
Yeah. It was cool to see the brothers out there, right? Who started, if I remember correctly, the story here, they started the game studio from animation history, right? Like their talent was in computer graphic animation, right? And they
that would make sense.
Yeah. So pretty cool. Yeah, good way to start the show. I think that's a cool announcement. It is coming this year, unless it gets delayed, which is our caveat to every release date. But they said it's coming this year.
Planned for this year, yeah.
Yeah, pretty cool. Next thing I have on the list is the God of War stuff was big, I think, from a PlayStation perspective. So they announced they're formally doing a remake of the original trilogy. What shape this takes and how extensive the remake is, I guess we'll see. But I know quite a few people, obviously, millions of people are gigantic fans of the original Kratos trilogy. So hopefully it turns out well.
Does it strike you that this announcement is kind of break glass in case of emergency, maybe a little too early? We needed something from Sony first party in this state of play?
I did get that sense, yes. I don't know if we're wrong or right, but that's the sense I got.
This is like the one where they just show a logo and then it's like, all right, it's coming.
Yeah, they just instead had an actor kind of vamp, which is fine. Yep. But
it's cool to see.
And that is Sony's strategy, though. They like to show the flashy logo and then like hit you with it every 12 months,
This is what we're doing. Yeah, no, and I think it made sense because they had a game to drop, the 2D game. But yeah, it's just not great. People get super excited about it. It's like, okay, so they didn't even want to show a concept painting. So let's hang on a second and see how that one comes, because they are a little bit trapped insofar as they already sold us a remastered version of the Greek trilogy. So it can't just be like a really thin remastering, you wouldn't think. And they use the word remake prominently, so you expect it to be something like bringing the older games into modern times.
I have no idea how you do that. The old games are, I don't know. Are you guys fans of the old games, the original trilogy? I have qualms.
2 especially.
God of War
2,
I liked them. I mean, they're not like, they don't sit up there on the pedestal for me, but I definitely enjoyed them. Yeah.
One I really liked is like one of those 6-hour in and out games. Like, I got a complete story in a session.
My problem with the entire original God of War trilogy is that it feels like the game had 2 writers, and one person was writing the plot, like the narrative beats of the things that would happen. And then the second writer was just writing Kratos's dialogue, and they did not communicate with one another. One person was setting up all these really emotional moments. The person writing the plot was like, here will be like an opportunity for like character development and advancement. And the other person writing Kratos was like, I'm just going to have him be like, I will kill it, and have absolutely no emotional like connection to any of the stuff that's happening. That's really my problem with that entire trilogy, is like so much opportunity for like dramatic stuff, and Kratos is just like, I don't care. And I'm like, what? You guys should have talked to these two writers. They should have collaborated a little bit on what was going on here.
I do think that's why it becomes so muddled, right? By the time you get to the end, and it's like,
yeah,
okay, so you've done everything you wanted to do, but yes, your character beats are, I am concerned about my lust for vengeance. It's like, no, not really.
Nope. Yeah, no, they set themselves up for, it's set, like, if you looked at the draft of like the different plot points, you'd be like, oh wow, this is going to be a really emotional game. It's just not. Kratos has no problem with it. Got to kill your own family, not a big deal, actually. For me, not a huge. Whoa, what's for lunch? What are you guys thinking? I'm thinking we go out. It's so crazy to me.
I was trying while you guys were talking to look on PlayStation blog to see what they officially said about this one, and I think Kogue, our instincts may be, or the three of us, our instincts may be right, because there's one blurb about it, and it says the project is still very early in development, so we ask for your patience.
Yeah, it's like it got approved last week. It was like approved on Friday's Zoom call, and it's in the state of play.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
This is don't wait for this one, but
that's how we do it, dude.
I'm curious to see how it turns out, though. I mean, if it's a full remake, right, and they bring modern mechanics and systems, and those integrate well, maybe tell some more of the story. To your point, Travis, of elaborate on certain things, it could be good. We'll see.
Well, you can backfill. I mean, once you know where you end.
I just wonder, will they do that? Will they do that though? I wonder. I'm wondering if there's like a certain. Don't change the tone of the original, and
this
keep,
is the
like,
trouble
the
with remakes.
I don't know.
Beloved.
I hope that they do, because my problems with the original trilogy are purely like that I have nothing to connect with in those games. They're just kind of action slop to me. But there's a lot of people who disagree with me. They're very beloved games, so I'm curious if they'll take that chance. I could see them just playing it safe and not. I think the safe thing to do would be to not change anything. So I hope they do, but we'll see.
I don't have a lot of trust in Sony's C-suite. So my fear is that you take it and you say, what we need to make God of War Greek is God of War Norse. And so we have to treat everything more seriously. We're going to go over the shoulder. We're going to have more of that kind of parry combat somehow with gauntlets instead of shields. And we're going to try to backfill the originals to make it feel like what we've got right now. And that won't work. So don't do that, Sony, if that was your plan. and thank you for watching the Bitcast, by the way. We appreciate you. But,
they're always here.
Yeah, but like that would be my fear, because you have to do something if you're modernizing it in a remake, because God of War was a specific camera angle beat 'em up more than anything else. So what are you going to do? I don't know.
Yeah, they're a little bit between a rock and a hard place, right? Because I think the absolute wrong move would be to try to make it like the modern games, especially since like the tone of those is a little, little faffy. But I do think that they can't just leave it as it is. I don't know if that style would land in the modern era. You know what I mean? It feels a little kind of vapid if you just keep it exactly the same. So
I don't know either. It's like you go back.
It's a tough. They're gonna have to get it right in the middle, I think. And I don't know that. Yeah, that's a gamble.
Why you don't commit to much of anything right now is you want everybody to have their most optimistic, best hoped for version of what the remake could be. Right when Final Fantasy VII remake gets announced, it's essentially behold the prince that was promised, and it's going to be exactly what you want it to be. And it's never what everybody wants it to be at the same time. So you kind of hold off on that. You keep it positive for as long as you can. And then you're going to have to show something eventually. But today is not that day. So it's probably not the worst thing in the world. I just note when it's like the video that they did in the State of Play this time, that there isn't a lot to actually hang your hat on here yet.
Yeah, it says, there's one sentence that says, this project's still very early in development, so we ask for your patience, as it will be a while before anything else can be shared. So yes,
before we develop it at all.
Yeah, before we even get a team on it. Yeah.
It's like the Knights of the Old Republic remake, where it was just like, guy, face of guy, and then logo. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Knights of the Old Republic remake was just like
somebody walking toward the camera, and then the logo.
In CGI. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. I was going to say the new Republic game, which I can't remember the name of. Sorry, folks. I I thought committed a little bit more to a tone and like what they were at least aiming for than what we've currently got for God of War.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did. They had like a vibes piece. There's a
Yeah.
thing the developers
poem
put
trailer.
together where they put like a tone trailer together just to like when they're trying to pitch the game to like a funder or whatever, they're like, here's what we're kind of going for. And that felt like that. And God of War, you don't even have that. So you're kind of like guessing what it's going to be based off of what the old games were. But it's tough.
Fate of the Old Republic. Thank you, Alex.
Yes, I knew it had Old Republic. They kept the important part for connecting them, but I didn't remember what it was at the Old Republic.
I'm excited for that one if it exists. It doesn't.
Right. And then, as briefly mentioned, they shadow dropped Sons of Sparta, which is the 2D kind of game that's out right now. I know a couple people are playing it at SG. Eric, I think Alex is playing it. They said it's decent, but I haven't touched it. I don't know if anyone else.
That's kind of how the trailer looked. To be honest, from the state of play itself, I thought Castlevania ate this game's lunch. So,
100%.
Sorry, people making Sparta game.
Which it's a mobile
I've not
developer
played it, but
previously.
Some of my colleagues played it and were like,
That's how it looked.
Yeah,
fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Let's talk about Konami, shall we? Konami comes in. They have almost a dedicated section on Konami here in the state of play. And let's start with my favorite game of the show, which is Castlevania Belmont's Curse, being developed in tandem by Evil Twin and Motion Twin, both twins, we got everyone here.
I don't think that's right on the evil side.
Isn't it? Oh, sorry. Maybe I mistyped that. But Evil, whatever the second name is, are the ones who made the Rogue Prince of Persia with Ubisoft. Motion Twin, of course, famous for Dead Cells.
And the Castlevania expansion to Dead Cells, right?
I was getting ready to say that, Hogue.
Nope, I got to jump on you. It's how I do. Welcome back.
But this takes place in Paris, I believe 1499. They said it's 23 years after Dracula's Curse. And they comment there is some details on PlayStation blog about the game itself and like the abilities of the whip. And it being, the action adventure, I guess, Metroidvania, Castlevania type. That's where it comes from, right? Original style of game. So the action, the animation, the graphical style, I was enamored by this game. I've actually watched the trailer twice now because I liked it so much. It is coming this year, as always, with the caveat we say about delays. And this quickly jumped to one of my most anticipated.
Yes. Yeah, this trailer is awesome looking. And yes, it's Evil Empire and Motion
Evil
Twin.
Empire, thank you. I wish I should know from freaking Rage Against the Machine. You'd think I'd know better. Sorry. Go ahead, Hook. Sorry.
Oh, no, not at all. And I'm just on their website here because I knew that the Evil one sounded different to me. And I like that, as you would expect from people protecting their trademarks, they don't call their game a Metroidvania. They say that this is a new entry in the 2D action exploration franchise of Castlevania. So 2D action exploration is the official lame corporate way of saying Metroidvania now, folks. So you can
pretty much.
Put a pin in that. But yes, this trailer looks unbelievable. I absolutely love Dead Cells. I think Evil Empire did my favorite Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, but I'm not positive on that, so we'll see.
Oh, which one's that?
It is Shattered Fate or Splintered Fate.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take a look while you're talking, but
these two companies I have fond feelings for. The trailer looks like those fond feelings are well placed. And yeah, compared to Sons of Sparta, Belmont's Curse just looked way more interesting to me. So I agree with everybody who's excited about this. I myself am excited about this. I feel like we've got really cool artistic Metroidvania games in the last little while. Whether you like your Hollow Knights, whether you like your Shinobis, now you've got Castlevania coming back. And one of the best parts about this announcement was they said that this was the first entry in the celebration of the 40th anniversary, I think, of Castlevania.
They did.
Which means that unless they're really bad at English translation, this is going to only be the start of even more Castlevania. So I was locked in from the start of this Konami piece of the state of play because it's like, let's go. And
agree.
Yeah, what more can you say? Castlevania is awesome. This looks like an even better, more modern Castlevania from developers that know what they're doing with this stuff, get excited.
Yeah. Yeah, agree with all of that. And yes, Evil Empire actually also worked on Dead Cells as well. So these two studios have a history of working together. They worked on the DLCs and the Castlevania expansion for Dead Cells. And they also did Brotato, for what that's worth.
Oh, I like Brotato a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a well-loved game. So good talent there. Cool to see these two studios coming together. It seems Konami at least has a good sense of what they want to do with their IPs and who's a good studio to make them, which is half the battle, really. So super excited about this one. Immediately picked it up in our fantasy league, by the way. This one's mine. And I hope it hits high. We'll see.
I went to go bid on it and I saw you already grabbed it. I was like, fuck.
We also got the next Silent Hill, which 3 years ago I saw was the last time we got the tease of Silent Hill Townfall. So we got the first look at it. It's coming this year as well. In a change for Silent Hill, it's actually in first-person perspective, which the game director and some of the team talk about on a PlayStation blog article if you want to know more about it. Annapurna is involved in this somehow. I don't know if it's development talent or production or whatever
Sack
else.
of money.
Yeah, exactly. And surprisingly, this was originally, I went back and looked because I was confused. Originally supposed to come to everything. It is now PS5 and PC only. It is a console exclusive for PlayStation. So I don't know if that's going to be a timed exclusive, if PlayStation is helping fund it, or money had it, whatever it may be. But just be aware that this is PS5 and PC only. Regardless, I love Silent Hill F. Is one of my favorite games last year. Townfall looks great. We'll see how the first person plays out. That doesn't really concern me too much, but I'm really, really excited about what they're showing here.
Silent Hill coming back.
I'm telling you, man, Castlevania Silent Hill. I love seeing Konami come back properly. It's great.
Yep. I would have, only thing could have made it better would be a Suikoden announcement, but you still got time, Konami.
I would have preferred a pachinko announcement personally.
Well, they can still make pachinko machines out of all these brands. You hold your horses.
But they didn't announce any new pachinko machines during the show. That's my problem.
No, that's for their investors.
Yeah.
I
just love a good pachinko.
I was at the casino on Friday, and one of the games I was playing was Konami, big old logo on it, and I was like, yeah, it's always weird to see. But
I think there's a slot machine, isn't there?
You reprobate.
Took my mom.
Sure. I was just there for my mom. Mom, let's go.
Yeah, she drugged me there. What'd you say, Hope?
I think there's a Metal Gear slot machine, isn't there? I think there's one that I walk by that has like Snake yelled at me.
Maybe that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I'd play the hell out of a Castlevania machine. Come on, bring it on.
Snake. I like that she interrupts herself in that. It's amazing.
Yeah. Speaking of Snake, good segue. So they also announced the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection 2 coming on August 27th, which will include Metal Gear Solid 4 and Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. So Hope's excited. I'm going to let him get excited here. Go.
Yes. They only really talked about 2 games. If you look at the last page, it looked like they were also bringing Ghost Babel over, which is a Game Boy game that they maybe don't want to make a big deal out of. But there are a number of Metal Gear experiences in this set, it looks like. And Metal Gear Solid 4, even just watching that trailer, hearing that music, having it resurrected from its entrapped life on the PlayStation 3 was so good to see and so good to hear. I basically forget until I restart playing a Metal Gear game how formative this series was for me, how much I love Metal Gear Solid. So Metal Gear Solid 4, super, super excited to play again. Gonna miss the install time watching Snake smoke for an hour and a half, but I'm so excited about this. I don't love Peace Walker as much as some other people do, but it's still a good game, and I actually really did like Ghost Babel on the old Game Boy Advance. But Metal Gear Solid 4 is the big ticket item here. They had such a good kind of release with Metal Gear Delta, reminding you of what makes Metal Gear awesome, that I'm really excited to jump back in with 4. Couldn't be more excited about this. Again,
awesome.
The Konami section, just banger after banger for me.
I know we've talked about. I'm not the biggest Metal Gear Solid fan, which is fine. In fact, the funny thing though, Metal Gear Solid 4, I think is my favorite one. And I still have my Metal Gear Solid 4 PlayStation 3 bundle sealed away, not sealed, but packed away. And it'll be interesting to see if I go back to this one.
That's so wild to me that it's your favorite because it's by far the weirdest in terms of like narrative flow and gameplay structure.
Yeah, I don't know why.
So 4 is your favorite?
It is, yeah.
He did.
Well, that's weird, yeah.
Yeah, one, obviously Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation 1 was, a gigantic thing at the time. I just never liked it as much as other people. 2 to me drove me nuts. I think the story is an absolute train wreck. And
I don't know.
The Japanese exist, dear brother.
Yeah, I just didn't. I finished it and I was just like, I don't care about this franchise.
I adore 1. I don't have the same love for 2. I adore 3, and then I really, really like 4.
Okay.
Peace Walker.
3 I know is a lot of people's favorite. I've tried 3 twice to get into it, and I just couldn't. It's just not my favorite thing. But
3
4
is
I
utterly fantastic,
played a little
especially if you like weird convoluted plots, because he ties them all up at the end, and it's really, really well done. And then 4 leaps off of 3, and so
yeah, I just
good
like
stuff.
I like some of the setup of 4. I like that there was more options with kind of the combat, the weaponry. I
Meta
got into
sniper
that.
battle.
In fact, Bert says, shout out to Bert, by the way. He says it's my favorite because it's not like the others, which is probably true.
It's not.
Yeah.
One of these things is not like the other.
But anyway, good announcement. I know a lot of people will be pumped. Obviously, Metal Gear Solid, a gigantic franchise. So pretty cool to see. And not even that far off. I mean, it's coming in August. So, given how long we wait for games to release nowadays. We also got the funny little Darwin's Paradox, which is our 2D octopus stealth game, which, by the way, I didn't realize until this morning. There's a demo that is out right now on all platforms. So I downloaded the demo and I played about 20 minutes of it this morning just to check it out. It's interesting so far. It is very much you're just an octopus squiggling around and trying not to be caught.
I'm not sure I even
That's
want to be an
true.
octopus.
That's true in
I'm
real
not a
life.
dad. But
Yeah.
every time I've seen trailers of this, first of all, this looks awesome, but it also
does.
very much looks like an Oddworld game to me. Like it looks like an Abe's Odyssey kind of game, which is not anything wrong with it necessarily, except that I don't know that there's a ton of design space there in 2026. So I will be interested to see what they do with it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I need to play more of the demo to see. Right now, it's very basic, but it does
We'll
look
say
funny. It does look cool.
The Metal Gear Fake Out was, I think, probably not great for some of the people that were excited about some other. There's a Metal Gear 1 remake announcements or rumor. So yeah,
it's an octopus. It's hiding in a box.
I liked it, but my first thought was, some people are going to be pissed about that.
Like when you play the demo, you literally see like the Metal Gear. It makes the alert sound. Like it's definitely playing into that IP. Yeah. So it's kind of funny, but the game itself is out April 2nd. So again, I mean, that's not that 6 weeks away. So, but if you play the demo, you do get a snake skin for Mr. Octopus guy, Darwin. And then there's other skins for pre-ordering. So you can check that out.
I will definitely be checking it out. I actually didn't realize it was that soon. I told my girls about this and they asked me if it was some kind of game about, evolution or survival of the fittest. I said, I think they're just taking the name as an ode to you being a scared little animal. I don't think we'll be categorizing birds on the Beagle or anything like that.
No.
So
that's
my girls for you.
Did you guys know that octopuses eat sharks? I learned that this week.
Were you hanging out with the boy from Jerry Maguire?
Somebody shared a.
That's a deep cut, Hogue.
Sorry. That's all you get from me.
That's pretty good. That
was good.
Somebody shared a GIF of a octopus grabbing onto a shark, and I was like, "Octopuses eat sharks?" And I started googling it, and I was like, "Oh my god, octopuses are beasts. They eat sharks. That's hella cool.
Crazy creatures.
That's hella cool, dude." The sea is sick.
Awesome.
I really like the graphical style they have of this cartoon octopus. I think it looks cool.
Oh, it's cool. It's very cool. Yeah. Shout out to a new viewer. Mike Untitled says, did I just find a video game podcast that talks about actual video games instead of how they were announced, when and where they were marketed? This is great. Well, thank you, Mike.
We do
great
both,
to have you here.
but we appreciate
we
the
do both, but
positivity.
we do talk about games, and hopefully at least games that especially Hogue, games you might not have heard of before as well. So we try to cover all the bases here, but thanks for hanging out with us. All right, we got Project Windless, which people have officially named Black Myth Chicken.
Yep, that's what I thought. Have people named it that? Because while I'm watching this, I'm like, this is a Black Myth game, isn't it? And it's like,
yeah,
you never really know what to expect when you see a giant chicken man come out. And it's like, I really loved this trailer.
Hell yeah.
The first 60 seconds. Like, I liked the vibe. I was like, what is this weird RPG thing? And then I got a little bit less in love with it when it looked like it was going to be a Souls game of some kind. And then in my head, I'm like, this looks like a Black Myth game, because I'd forgotten that I'd seen the other logos at the front. But then, yes, that's a giant chicken attacking everything.
Or a giant sea, that
I don't know that it's a Souls-like, though. It kind of looked like it had a little bit of like Dynasty Warriors to
Yep,
it.
it did look like it had a little bit of that in it. I was trying to decide while I'm watching this.
Yeah,
well,
I don't think it's really a Souls-like. I think it's just an action game, personally.
I'm gonna see if I can find any actual info from Krafton. So if you don't know, this is Krafton, the PUBG developer.
Yeah.
And Krafton announced a year or two ago that they had several projects in the work, and as we've talked about on this show many times, Krafton has a lot of money.
They got a lot of money.
Yeah, so they're funding obviously different projects. I think this was obviously their kind of unveiling of one of them. And it is a fantasy universe here based on PlayStation Blog, inspired by the Korean novel series The Bird That Drinks Tears.
Yeah, it said that in the trailer.
They have been working on it for years, and it says it is an open world action RPG. That's all it says.
Yeah, I think this is an action RPG, not really like a Souls-like. It might have some inspiration in the combat, kind of like every game these days feels like they have to. But I really didn't get like pure Souls-like vibes from this. I will say the main takeaway from the Northup household was my wife is attracted to this chicken. And I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys, but she was moved by this chicken in ways that haunt me.
That chicken was swole.
It was swole. Yeah.
I mean, it was.
He's got a good head of hair. I mean, what do you call the chicken? A plume. Nice plumage on that guy.
Plume. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah. So let's see if we can divulge what they're talking about here. Let me read this to you from the official from Krafton. We also challenged ourselves to create a combat experience that feels different from what you usually see in action RPGs. Something bigger and wilder, driven by the raw chaos of battle. As a recon or reckon, I don't know, it looks like recon warrior, you often fight dozens, sometimes hundreds of enemies at once. To be clear, these crowds aren't just visual noise. Brought to life through innovative mass technology, they move, flank, surround, and react to your actions, turning every battle into living spectacle.
It does sound more like a Warriors game than anything else.
Yeah, because it like you don't go for chaos in Souls. Souls-like is like intentionally slow because you're dodging and doing stuff, and so this definitely strikes me more of like an action game, which I'm into. I feel like we need more of these, and it's so unique. You play a giant chicken, man.
Yeah, I just respect the boldness of just having that chicken stand up with the sun behind him, and you're like, "This is us. Oh, this is us, folks.
Hell yeah,
this is our game."
And then he goes "Baka!" and screams and kills all those people. You're like, "Hell yeah!"
I was expecting it to be like some kind of satire, like this chicken man, and it was going to announce that it was actually one of those games where you're in another game and it's all a satire about being a giant warrior chicken. Nope. They just owned it. You're a warrior chicken.
If it was a joke, my wife did not take it like one. That's all I have to say.
She's very serious about this.
She took that chicken very seriously.
You get some subtext here, Ains. How smitten was the Travis Northup household with this chicken?
Yeah. Well, look, I was interested.
Travis is going to have a plume next week. I know that.
Yeah, I'm going to come back. You guys are going to see me with a little red, gullet thing. One of those. Yeah. All I'll say is I was like, damn, this game looks sick. And then my wife turned to me and was like, I'm attracted to strength. And I said, okay.
Attracted to strength.
Yeah, I was like,
actual
great
conversation.
Great. Cool. Thanks, D.
They had to pause the state of play, the whole thing.
Oh my god. Oh boy, yeah. Well, we'll see on this one. They said it's been in development for years, so it doesn't sound too long away. It says we look forward to sharing more. Yeah, they don't have any other details, but pretty cool regardless.
Probably longer than you think, but it does feel like it's been along the way of development.
Maybe late next year, 2027, something like that. Yeah. So I want to talk about this one too, because I know, Hogue, as a huge Remedy fan, you are not big on the first Control. And we got a new look at Control Resonant here, which I really dug. I know the people that I've talked to who kind of like that open world exploration, weird, combined with the weirdness of Remedy, really liked it. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts, being a non-Control fan who also loves the kind of narrative Alan Wake 2 style Remedy experience.
The Remedyverse, yeah.
Looks very different from.
I hope that this makes them a ton of money to keep their lights on and to keep making games in the future. That is my honest to God real desire for them. I watched this and got very little of the Remedy weirdness vibes that I like, something that is unusual in the space. I felt like this was them really kind of auguring in towards the same, look how creepy that monster is kind of feel that we see across like the Summer Games Fest or the Game Awards or anything else. This looked way more generic in its lack of genericness, if that makes any sense. It looks like the same kind of weirdness that everybody else is delivering. So I am all the way out on Control Resonant. I wish I weren't. I will undoubtedly play it. But yes, if you might recall, Control was something like a 4 out of 10 to me. This looks like it'll be worse.
Come on.
Tell me you've never played a 4 out of 10 with that.
I get Control not being your thing. 4 out of 10 is, I mean, that's,
to be clear, I'm not a hater, especially of Remedies. Alan Wake 2 is my game of the year. But no, Control really, really didn't work for me. Really hated that world. Felt it was essentially overlord with stuff that was uninteresting. And while I think the combat worked, they never got the brother plotline right. It looks like they're trying to fix it in this game, but it still doesn't seem interesting to me. And so, no, Control Resonant all the way out.
Okay. I like that I came full circle. You were so pumped about Metal Gear Solid, and I brought you right back to Hogue Land.
Do you hear that, Don Lionheart? He thinks your draft picks are good. This guy. He likes your list. Do you hear that, Don? Do you hear that?
Oh man. Well, we'll see. I'm excited for it. Control was good to me. I didn't adore it, but I really liked it. This one, I always, it's more my type of game. I just like being able to explore. I like having more agency to the player. If it's not going to be a tight narrative experience, which I also love, I prefer this style more. So we'll see how it turns out. I'm hopeful. Let's see. We got another preview of Beast of Reincarnation, the game from Game Freak we saw at the Xbox Developer Direct. This time we got the release date. So it's coming August 4th, which seems to be a good time of the year for a release of that nature. I think if they pushed into October, November, they'd be in trouble.
Now, my wife didn't say anything about strength for this trailer, but she did mention that she thought that the dog was really adorable. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's a little less worrisome.
Sensual.
I don't believe she was attracted to the dog. I think she just thought it was cute.
Yeah, which is fair, right? That's a normal reaction.
Pets go a long way with my wife too, but not in the same way as strength does.
As a
different
giant
tell us about your technique, Travis.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Happy Valentine's Day.
Pets go a long way with my wife. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Oh my god. Hopefully this one lands. I think it's got some unique ideas. Sometimes it looks like, oh, I'll be really into this, and then other times I'm like, yeah, this isn't for me, and I don't know where it's going to land in the middle of that.
Isn't that the truth though? Like some of the trailers are like, well, that's super weird. I don't know about any of that. And then some of the trailers are like, yes, sign me up, let's go.
It is. It's very weird how that happens. So we'll see how this one turns out. Coming, God, a little over 2 weeks, Legacy of Kain, Defiance Remastered. So classic trilogy here is getting its the third part is remastered coming March 3rd. And I think the coolest part of this announcement, at least for me, I'm not a huge fan here, I just didn't play these as much as others, but they're actually including a demo of Dark Prophecy, which is the previously unreleased sequel to Defiance. So that's really, really cool to see something being released that was just kind of no one's ever played before, even though it's obviously not a complete product. It's cool for fans, no doubt.
Yeah, I love Legacy of Kain. And I loved it when it was just Legacy of Kain. That was a game that I was really excited about. I remember when I was a youngster having all the magazine articles and being really excited about being a vampire. And I thought that game told a cool story. Obviously, that jumps off into Soul Reaver, where the premise is that you took the evil ending in Legacy of Kain 1, which I always thought was interesting. And Soul Reaver then has its sequel, Soul Reaver 2, which circles back around to combine for an ending with Defiance, which I actually remember thinking that they really pulled off, but I haven't played this game in forever. So I'm excited about being able to play it on modern systems. I remember thinking that they basically landed the plane of these two difficult plot lines, Kain and Raziel, very different characters playing very different games, coming together in one. And this is a game I'm excited about playing. I didn't know that they actually had ever planned a sequel to Defiance, because Defiance is such a strong, definitive ending to the Legacy of Kain saga. A sequel doesn't make a ton of sense, and maybe that's what they decided internally. But any more content is always welcome. I love these games that come out with like little commentary tracks, little snippets. I know Rayman got an anniversary edition that has little like digital eclipse.
Whoa. Raymond, please keep your
Raymond,
your
yes.
original pronunciation. We revealed that that's how you think it's pronounced. Raymond, go on.
Raymond.
Yes.
You gotta do that. You haven't done the accent though, Travis. Come on.
Everybody loves him.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Raymond.
But I saw they did an anniversary edition of that.
On the wall, everywhere,
like,
always jumping. Sorry.
With like digital
with the
eclipse
jumping
doing
and
one of their
the
documentary
platforming
games. I swear he's waiting for me to try to talk.
Yes. Yes, he is.
But yeah, so I love these. Legacy Kain Defiance. I didn't think that you would necessarily pull out of that state of play, but I think I already pre-ordered it when I saw it was available. So
nice.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean,
Great
people wanted
series.
these games to return for a long time. So
Great series.
Yeah. Sorry for the interruption, so but yeah, I mean, I agree with you in the sense of maybe they decided internally it didn't really make sense to have this sequel to Defiance, and that's why it never came out. But again, really cool for fans when stuff like this happens. It's kind of like as not to change the subject, but kind of like with Campaign Evolve that's come in Halo. Like, I'm not a big fan of them changing legendary game like Halo CE, but it having 3 levels that were previously unreleased has me interested. Like, being able to go back and play those is going to be really cool. So
I know that you're at least interested enough to fight over saying the title. So I felt for you, even just having to get it out of your mouth there.
I don't like saying that title. It sounds weird. Marvel Tocom Fighting Souls, we touched on earlier, releases August 6th, which is actually earlier than I would have thought, but pretty cool that it's coming so soon. They showed some of the team up action that you're going to have in the game, like the classics, Marvel vs. Capcom type thing we've seen. So I hope this is one of my fantasy picks. I'm betting a lot on this one. So I hope it lands.
I think that's a pretty safe fantasy.
It looks awesome. I don't love fighting games as much as other people, but it looks awesome.
It does. Yeah, it looks great.
I will say,
so,
I think Mitch Saltzman, who's the guy to talk about this, I don't think he was super stoked on it, but I think it's just going to do well anyway. It's
definitely going to sell well.
It's a fighting game with Marvel characters. I think it'll probably review well, probably do well. It's a safe bet.
And in this particular video, they announced the Danger Room is now some kind of like hot girl. I mean, how can you go wrong?
Can't go wrong with the hot girl. Hot chicken, even better. But hot
I was going to
girl,
say, it's not a big chicken, but hot girl is a close second.
Yeah. How good is her plumage? That's my follow-up question about the hot girl.
She's got that like Silver Surfer Danger Room kind of vibe. But
nice. Okay. Did it awaken something inside you, Hogue? Did you discover something about yourself?
It did not. It was when they announced that it was like they put her name up and it's Danger, and I was like, I think she's the Danger Room. And then they said like she's been training the X-Men with all her tricks and traps for decades, so now is the time to bring it to the streets or whatever they said in the trailer. I was like, that is the Danger Room as a girl.
It's fair. Yeah. I mean, if you could date any room, what room would you date? Oh, you first.
Study or library.
Study library. Nice. You like intelligent women. Ains? He's like strip club, you know.
Yeah, I mean, how
dance
dark
floor.
we want to go here?
Yeah, that's right. I'll go with the torture dungeon. That's more my speed. What do you guys think?
An entirely different kind of show.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. All right, moving on.
It sounds like a sequel
By
to
the way,
Dig
shout out.
Everything.
We just about 200 people live with us here. Awesome, love it. Again, hit that like button if you haven't. We would appreciate it, and share it out. Helps us a lot.
It was the room question that I think got us over.
Yeah, they're piling in now. They want the answer to this. So
yeah, they were. Yeah, drop your room selections in the comments below. You know, what are you into? Yeah.
Welcome to Bitcast After Dark.
Dude, I would
You see the Iron Lords have an After Dark show now?
Amazing. Yeah.
Nice.
No, I mean, I think clearly I would host the Bitcast After Dark. That would be like without question. I would have like so many like prompts
in your chicken
go.
suit.
Yeah, of course, my plumes. Yeah. Hell yeah.
We got new footage for Travis, your game, my friend. Star Wars Galactic Racer. We got a new look at that coming this year.
Yeah, we got to see Ben Quadraneros.
As well as some campaign.
Yeah, fun fact, Ben Solo, also known as Kylo Ren, was actually named after not Ben Kenobi, but Ben Quadraneros. Han Solo was a big fan of pod racing, and
that guy always looks like a ravioli is driving a pod racer.
He just wanted
Dude, I can't even tell if you're being serious right now.
No, Ains, I am completely joking
about the naming.
Yeah, Ben Quadraneros
like a ravioli.
Ben Quadraneros is a glup shido from Star Wars, a character nobody knows except for people whose brains have been pickled by too much Star Wars. And he showed up in the trailer, and everybody who's an idiot was like Ben Quadraneros, and I was like, dude, shut up, internet. But it's very funny. Yeah, I cannot be more stoked about this game. I want to draft pick it, but I just can't. I can't do that in good
faith. Can I say from the actual footage here, it actually looked a little bit less impressive than I thought or had hoped it would look.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. This was always going to be like a 7 out of 10 in my mind. Like I just can't see this being. I can't see this being good, which is why I can't draft it. But my heart is drafting it.
See, this is why Travis makes fun of me, because I said my philosophy in putting the team together was that I had to be rooting for it. I had to really want the game to succeed, which means that there's a lot of hope in my team, but not a lot of guarantees.
Yeah, no, I'm playing Moneyball a little bit, so it's very corporate. Got to take out ads. Yeah,
this is why I lost that Blood on the Clock Tower, because I couldn't betray my brother looking straight at me, wondering if I had lied to him for 3 hours.
Oh, Hogue. Oh, you sweet summer child. We got to get you in our Discord group so you can join us for online games. We'll build you a little skin of deceit. Well, that's what we need.
You guys are trying to get a 3-person team of marathon together when that comes out, right?
True. Yes. That's right. Yeah, and we got
it's gonna happen. We already promised the audience that it has to happen.
We could hop on that playtest together.
The server
26th. Yeah, server
That's another thing. We're going to mention that shortly, but yeah. Let's finish up on State of Play first before we get to that. So just a couple other things I was going to mention. Obviously, we got new looks at 007, Sorrows, Requiem, Marathon, a bunch of other things as well that, quite frankly, I'll be honest with you guys, I've seen too much. I don't want to see any more Sorrows. I don't want to see any more Requiem. I don't want to see any more 007. At this point, I'm just ready for the games. Like, I hate when they over promote or over market a game.
I actually felt the same way about Sorrows, which is like, I don't actually want to see the game flow this much.
Yeah.
007 I actually really liked because it showed that it was not just a Hitman game. Like, they really had stuff emphasizing the James Bondness of it all. So I liked that.
Yeah.
Marathon I continue to enjoy seeing more of because it still is this weird, mysterious thing to me. And now that I've bought a copy on pre-order, I'm looking forward to its release. But yeah, I thought.
Let me ask you, Hope.
Yeah.
Sorry. I thought you were done there.
Oh no, I was just going to reiterate. I thought the Sorrow stuff was actually one where I said I want to look away. I don't actually want to know this much about the flow.
I did. I looked away during Sorrows and Requiem. I was like, nope, I don't want to know anymore. On Marathon, it definitely. I've come full circle in this game. I was going to ask you, does it feel like they're definitely playing into more of the lore in the universe to get more people like you rather than just a competitive shooter or extraction shooter fans? It definitely feels like it to me.
That one on the State of Play in particular, I thought was really leaning into the weird rampant AI-ness of Marathon that I like so much. So
yeah,
I don't know that a lot of people have that as a touch point. Like, what the heck is Marathon?
Yeah, of course.
But yes, that trailer was okay. This is the weird vibe, and I think honestly the growth of generative AI has maybe helped them find their kind of tone, because there is so much out in the world right now of this kind of knee-jerk discomfort with the AIs. And for those that don't know Marathon as a franchise, it is all about what we would call now generative AIs losing their minds. And so they've got their finger on the pulse, probably accidentally, if they want to lean into that for purposes of lore and storytelling in this universe. Now, we know it's an extraction shooter first and foremost, so they aren't going to be doing a ton of storytelling, you don't think, but they've got the space for it if they want it. And I think that trailer kind of suggests that they do want it. So that's nice.
Yeah, I will say, as somebody who's previewed this game a couple times and been fortunate enough to stop by the studio and check in on the project, Bungie cares deeply about the story in Marathon, and they've created some really cool stuff that I think has flown under the radar. There's a very, very cool short film that they made of Marathon that I think both captures kind of like the tone of the universe and also what it's like playing the game a little bit, or what they're going for in kind of the gameplay. And I think the story, like a lot of Bungie games, is going to be more of a big deal than people are giving it credit for, but they hide it. They make it an optional for the people who want it. But like the farther you get into the game, especially when you go to the Marathon ship, which is the final map that they haven't shown anyone, and they're not going to show anyone until the game's out. But like, I can just tell you that because I know how Bungie operates.
Hang on, the Marathon is at Tau Ceti? This is news to me.
Well, there is a map that's been announced, and it is a location from the original Marathon game. And it's also their biggest map, and they have shown none of it to anyone publicly. There's people who have played on the map in play tests, and we know that map has all the secrets and there's story stuff in it. And so it's one of those things where, like, you can play the Destiny campaign and be like, right? If you don't dive deeper. But then when you play the Destiny raid, you're like, oh shit, this game
Travis, what's the name of the big hive ship that just sits outside of Jupiter? And that had all
that would be
puzzles?
not the Leviathan. It is the it's like a synonym for Leviathan.
I remember that being my favorite thing to run around in Destiny.
They added it back. They added it back to Destiny 2. It'll come to me. Dreadnought. It's the Dreadnought. It really is the synonym for Leviathan. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, good times. But anyway, they're very good at crafting spaces like that with a lot of different secrets and doing storytelling that way. And my theory is Marathon's going to have some serious story chops for those who want it, and for those who don't, it'll just be like a fun, extraction shooter. So here's hoping.
If they do that at all, it's going to be one of my favorite things. So
yeah,
come on, Durandal.
Well, yeah, I mean, at this point, we might as well just move to it. So the server slam.
I didn't know we weren't on it. Whoops.
Yeah, I know. There was one other thing I was going to mention from the state of play, which was merely the John Wick game. That it's being made by Saber, which can be hit or miss. Saber's made a bunch of stuff lately, but it is being voiced by Keanu himself. He's doing his likeness and the voicing. So I hope that lands, because I love John Wick. John Wick. I love John Wick.
So Spot a fake fan. I love John Wick. It's my favorite of the.
I hope that lands.
I love it when he gets revenge for his cat. His cat.
Yeah. Really cool. Hey. I mean, you've come up with something there.
At least in my head, Saber is much more likely to hit than miss. So I think this should work for them.
Yeah, hopefully. I hope so. Anyway, we'll move to Marathon. So Marathon was part of the state of play as well, and they announced a server slam from February 26th to March 2nd, which is pretty cool, right? You get
right after release.
Several days, and then they're basically going to take the servers down, probably do their final tune, and then launch on March 5th. But just for those curious about what the server slam is, I've got it right here. So it's going to have 2 of the maps, Perimeter and Dire Marsh, ones we played previously, Travis. It's going to have the opening contracts for 5 of the factions of Marathon. You will be able to use all 6 runners, though, which is cool. And the Rook as well. So all 7, technically. It will have a solo queue. I want to be
recon, guys. Just throwing it out there.
It will have a solo queue. It will have proximity chat. And it just says, and more. And you can also earn, if you play, different things, including charms dedicated to other PlayStation games, Ghost of Yotei, Death Stranding 2, and Helldivers. But they also will have additional gear you can earn. So if you play one game, you get the charms and the basic stuff. If you get the level 10, you get additional loot for the full game release. If you get all the way to level 30, which I think is the Silver Slam cap, you get a whole bunch of stuff for the full release, which is pretty cool. And then they basically said once the game launches on March 5th, they're adding the additional 2 zones, Outpost and Cryo Archive, which I think is that 4th one we talked previously about, Travis. The full contract and progression for all 6 of the factions, ranked mode, which, oh yeah, man, I'm ready, and more. So they just say and more, of course, because as Travis said, they've got stuff in the hopper. But I will tell you, we played this. I liked what I played early on. Arc Raiders came. Arc Raiders has become a gigantic hit, and not to compare them one-to-one because they're very different games. But I think that, Marathon kind of went away in my mind for a little bit, and I will tell you, it has come full circle. I am pumped for this game now. Absolutely pumped, especially once I read about ranked mode, because I do think, Hogue, maybe to your chagrin, I do think this is going to be a sweatier game than Arc Raiders, and it is going to be PvP focused versus PvE focused. That's just my opinion.
Oh, people are not going to be cooperating in this game.
No, I don't think people are ready for how sweaty this game's going to be.
I intend to walk up to everyone with a sign of good faith and like in Sea of Thieves, playing my accordion and hoping to help as teammates.
All right. So we'll be reviving him a lot, Travis. Should we just take his loot and leave? I mean, do we need to revive him, really?
Yeah, probably for the best. Actually,
we can use him as bait.
My experience in Arc Raiders is that people love to walk up to you and help you out.
You know, yeah, that is true of Arc Raiders. And I do think that there's probably, like, my guess is Marathon will have a smaller audience, but probably a more dedicated audience, because Arc Raiders is great, but it has mass appeal because of all the different things it's doing. And now with a dedicated PvE mode, it's kind of breaking off a separate audience. I do think Marathon is a very different audience. Like, they're going for a different type of player, and that's why I don't think they're in direct competition. One's third person, one's first person. Those tend to be big separators in who is likely to play your game. For example, Ains's son Mike will not play a game that is third person. He's like, if it's not first person, I don't even care about it. Stuff like that. So I do think that they're going to be pretty distinct, but I'm really excited for it, man. It is a very sweaty game. And also, Hogue, just so you know, you can drop loot for other players. Like, if we're on the same team, I can drop something and you can equip it. And as long as we both extract, when we extract, I get the equipment back that I let you borrow. So as long as you stay alive, we can lend you some equipment when you inevitably get murdered because you're
like
being,
I said,
naive.
I was unnaturally good at Destiny for like a blip in time, like just really jiving with
it was
Bungie's
like this one Saturday
shooting.
night for 45 minutes. He rocked it.
No, I mean, because Destiny changed so much, like maybe year 2 of Destiny 2, like that whole year I was just throwing up much bigger numbers than I usually do. So like, I really love Bungie's shooting. I really love Marathon storytelling. If I could get just a feel for each in this game, I'm excited to play it with y'all. I'm not a sweaty player, obviously, but I would love to enjoy something of this ilk. I was convinced on this when I watched the Bungie Vidoc on the runners. Like, I really just liked how they described all the different classes. So I recommend anybody that's on the fence there to watch that particular video. They've got a ton of Vidocs on their channel. But the one that describes the differences in the runners, I thought was really effective.
It's really well done. It was classic Bungie Vidoc, which they do. They've always done very well.
They do that so well, man. They're so good at that sort of thing. I am very excited for our dynamic with Hogue, which is he's going to be like Lucy from the Fallout TV show, like going okie dokie, and, super naive, walking up with people. And I'm going to be Walton Goggins, being like, "You dumb,
you're
rookie."
the ghoul. I'm in the power armor.
His kids, boom, 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 just blasting people up.
Just get a shot over my shoulder, the guy I'm trying to talk to.
Yeah, she's gonna be like, Hogue's gonna be like, "Golly gee, they're shooting."
Yeah, golly gee, let's share this loot, and I'm gonna be like, "Oh, you dumb motherfucker!"
Oh my god,
that is gonna be a legendary dynamic in that game. Very excited.
For what it's worth, on Bungie.net, they are actually contradicting themselves. So on the one page, it says the Server Slam will have 5 of the 6 runner shells, but you won't be able to use Thief.
Right. I was gonna say they're gonna take away
That'll
recon,
only,
aren't they? That was the one that I had
that'll only
my.
be well, but on the other post I just read, it says you can use all 6. So maybe they've changed that. I don't know.
I think there's going to be one that you're not able to use. Just so like people have expectations. If you've played the marathon playtests before, there's very little new content in this. Like basically only the new runners that they've added are new content. Like it's the maps that have been available previously. It's you're getting more missions for the manufacturers. That's new, but those are mostly flavor and kind of story stuff. It's just like to give you like things to shoot for while you continue to play. But there's very little of like, they're still keeping the stuff under wraps that they were always going to keep under wraps. Like I've played some of it, but there's always a threshold in Bungie games where they're like, here's the 75% and the 25% nobody is going to see, even press. So like Ains and I are both reviewing the game. We're going to be playing along with the community, and we'll have played a little bit because of playtests and early access and stuff, but we're going to be playing along with the community for the bulk of the stuff that is important, which is the stuff that they haven't shown us that I know is their secret weapon, because I've talked to people who are part of the playtests and have seen that stuff, and they're like, that's the real game, and nobody knows what the real game is. And that's kind of just how Bungie rolls. Like they like to keep it under wraps, even if it hurts their marketing push for the game. They're just going to let that happen because that's how they do it. They really care about like the surprise element. So I don't even know what to expect, to be honest with you. All I know is that people who played it are like, just wait. And I'm like, okay, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I was reading the Server Slam details, and to your point, I was like, oh, this is what we've already played. Other than the runner cores that you said. So
I'm sure it'll feel better though. The new runners are cool, more diversity in the kind of groups that can form up. So I think it'll be cool.
Yeah, and I think knowing that launch is so close now, and that they're gonna have a ranked mode and like more of it, like it's gonna make me focus more. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna want to learn the ins and outs of certain things.
Solo queue's huge. Yeah.
Solo queue's great. Yeah.
That Slam
solo queue
like
isn't like
week,
match
right?
made, right?
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, we did 2 things.
I just said that the Slam starts like next week, right? It's like
10 days,
26.
11 days, 11 days,
26.
Yeah, I know that because I have to do 2 reviews before that comes out.
Solo queue is great because what solo queue means is it's matchmaking, but you won't be going against any teams of 3. Everyone will be man for themselves.
Okay,
which is very important in these types of games.
People were asking for the ability to go solo queue without matchmaking, so you're just the only one in there. I think that's still in the game. It was in some of the previous builds.
Oh, just the only one in the world?
No, like you solo queue, you go in and you're by yourself, but you're on a map where there's teams of 3, but you have elected to go in by yourself without a team. That was in one of the builds I played. I think
well, that's different. Yeah, that's different.
I think that's different than what you're talking about, but I think it is still an option in the game for people who literally just like ghosting in and out and like not having a team to hold them up or whatever. Yeah.
So you can usually do that. So how it typically works is you have your normal queue where it's teams of 3, and if you log in solo, you can then put don't fill. Like you don't fill your team, right? So you just solo queue.
I think that's still in the game. But yeah,
I hope so, because that's cool as well, because that way you can be like a scavenger, which I like to do sometimes. But solo queue itself will be important for things like ranked, because it means that you won't be facing community teams. It'll be pure solo skill, which is what I'm hoping they mean by solo queue.
I'm interested to see what stuff they've stood by and what stuff they've changed, because I have not been keeping up with the news on Marathon since the last time I did a preview for it. And they had like certain lines in the sand. They were like, we're not going to cross. And I'm curious, like they didn't have any safety pockets originally.
Right.
I'm wondering if they've changed that. I have no idea, but they didn't have that. And that's like in every extraction shooter. And they were like, nah, we're more.
I thought they did it. I thought you could get an item that gave you, like you don't have it by default, but I thought you had an item where you had a safety.
When I was interviewing, the last time I spoke with the team about this game in person, they were like, nah. Like we're not going to do pockets, and that was like important to them. So
I'm sorry, I need a little bit of lore for the safety pocket. It's one of the things that bothers me in extraction shooters. So
you need lore.
You got like the lore of how is it getting out of there.
Yeah, you got to spend a little lore, Bungie.
Oh, I
It's
got
a
you. I got you.
quantum computing teleportation device.
Yeah.
Whatever. Don't care.
I don't think they're. I mean, we'll see. I'm curious. I'm trying to kind of go in fresh to this one because I haven't been keeping up the news because I know I'm going to play this game, and I am on the review. So is Ains. We're reviewing this game.
I'm pumped.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
we'll be reviewing it together, which is awesome.
Hell yeah, dude! It's been too long. When was the last time we reviewed a game together? Was
Borderlands.
Borderlands? Yeah, those were the days.
Yeah, that was a good one too. God, the time we put into Borderlands, man, Jesus!
Oh,
and I was on the low totem of the four of us. You guys were out of control.
I was, dude, Ben got every achievement in that game before.
I don't think Ben turned off like the game.
He went full autism mode on that game. Wild.
I should play more of that.
It's a good game. I'm waiting for the expansion with Cash, the new class.
I have not played that game post-launch. I did all my game play time before the game was out, and my plan is to play it with my wife, but we have to get through the other Borderlands first. We're on Borderlands 2.
Okay. I started over.
I think I only resented that I had to like really tweak a lot of the control. Like sensitivity.
The defaults are weird.
Yeah, that's true. I did. I went back in recently to do the raid boss. Me and my friends did. We killed the raid boss. He's pretty cool. It's a little too easy for a raid boss, but stated.
Yeah, they'll ramp it up. The hardcore community will make them.
So before we head out, that's Marathon. Obviously, we'll have a lot more on that here in the coming weeks. And yes, we will find a way. We already promised the audience here to play that for the three of us somehow, maybe like a weekend daytime stream or something we'll do. Or we'll even just do a Bitcast while playing Marathon. We'll figure it out.
The promise was that I didn't have to worry about any of the tech stuff. So as long as you can figure that out,
I'll figure it out.
Playing a game somewhere.
No worries. I got you. Last thing before we close out is just the sad news and strange news, to be quite frank, that 2 weeks post-launch of Highguard, which we've talked about extensively, we're not going to rehash all that, Wildlight Entertainment or Wildlight Studio, whatever the hell their full name is, laid off the bulk of their staff. We don't know exact numbers. I don't think we do anyway. But basically, they said they just have a core, quote, team that will support Highguard into the future. But that a bunch of the design team was laid off. Other people from the team took to LinkedIn and other places basically saying, hey, we had stuff mapped out and designed that we're not going to get to see now. So clearly this game didn't hit out of the gate as they wanted it to. But Travis and I were talking a little bit about this offline. And I think the strange thing is, not to belabor this, but you launch a free-to-play shooter in January and it doesn't come out of the gate doing millions and millions, which is fine, but your plan to support this game didn't last longer than a couple weeks to like build an audience. I don't know what the plan here was. Very strange.
This is a mind-boggling decision because the vast majority of successful live service games, almost all of them, have not been successful when they came out. There's a couple exceptions to that. Arc Raiders, most recently, was basically a hit on day one, but like
Apex,
Fortnite, yeah, Apex for a while. There's been a lot of games that have had to find their footing, and some of those gaps where they had to find their footing were 6 to 12 months. And I pressed the team on this when I met them. Like I interviewed them and just said like, hey, based on your guys' initial reveal and how that went over, my guess is this game's not going to be a smash hit on day one. Do you guys have dedicated funding, dedicated plans in place to like turn it around and make it a hit? And they were pretty on it. They were pretty insistent that they were like, we're in for the long haul. We don't need a huge player count. We just need to, get the game out there, see how people respond to it. And then we've got all these plans to make changes and update the game and yada, yada. And I felt pretty good about that. So when the game came out and didn't have enormous player counts, my thought was, okay, that's fine. They made a good game. Like, it's not amazing, but it's good. And if they keep working on it, I think it can find an audience and develop and all that stuff. And so I don't understand why you would make a live service game and not plan for some kind of period where you haven't quite found your audience yet, because that is the model for live service games, is to come out the gates a little rocky and then you eventually get there. Because it's hard to come out with a game that is just perfect and universally beloved on day one. It's extremely, those are the those are the unicorns, right, in the world. And you can't plan on being a unicorn. If your business model is we're going to be a unicorn or we're going to close business, that is not a good business plan. And so I just, it's mind-boggling to me that you would make a live service game and not build that in.
It's like a new business, right? You got to plan for no income for a while. Like they should.
Exactly. Yeah. And the fact that they told me and other press people that they were planning on that and that they were in for the long haul and then just immediately weren't is really annoying.
Well, now, Travis, to play lawyer for a second.
Sure.
You ask if they have a plan if they don't hit off like gangbusters.
Yeah.
Is it not a possibility that the plan is we reduce operating staff by 90% and we plunk along with the skeleton crew?
Yeah. So my initial thought when they did the layoffs was, okay, so this is them like retreating and doing the like building and that sort of thing. But then we started talking to the people that were laid off and the people who worked there, and it does not appear to be that. It appears to be basically a complete rug pull on the company. Like they're not going to be able to adequately make the pivoting that they need to do to make this game a success. They basically have made it extremely unlikely that that'll ever happen. And so, you know, if it was like a reduction in 10% or something like that, or they laid off the art people or something, you know, something that they weren't using, then you get that. But when you lay off like core functions and sweeping across the board, like they say they're keeping a core team, but I don't think it's enough to make a 7 out of 10 game a 8 or 9 out of 10. I think it's just it's in my mind as a guy, I feel like I should be a consultant for live service games because they keep making the same mistakes. And this is one that I just will never understand. I don't get it, man.
Well, I just think there are some confounding factors here. And you might be right that they've cut to the bone too much and they can't continue. But I mean, it is a possibility that the plan was, certainly in a bigger organizations that are not just debut titles in the free-to-play landscape, you have had histories of video game companies that say bulk up to release and then lay off a bunch after release because you didn't need as much to maintain it after the fact in the pre-live service era. So this could be structured in that way where you've gotten rid of all the things that actually build the thing and you're just moving back to operational kind of maintenance. If it's too much, it's too much. But the follow-up I have for that is, you know, Ains mentioned Apex earlier. This company came from the Apex lineage. Could Apex have taught them the wrong lessons, right? Like that one hit as a nuclear bomb, right? Like that one exploded immediately on a shadow drop. And so they thought this is what was likely to happen. And then on top of that, they got the eyeballs that they wanted, right? Like the story of this game is that the Steam concurrents on day one are like 110,000 or something and immediately drop off the face of the earth. And I'm not saying you just use Steam concurrents to understand these stories because they're not great proxies for everything else going on. But there is at least a bit of a narrative there that says you did the successful marketing. Jeff Keighley helped you get the eyeballs in the door to know that Highguard had released today. People dropped in, and for whatever reason, they didn't connect with it. And that lowers morale and your belief in the longevity of the project because the thing that you were ready to work with was only a bucket of people come and find us, but we can build off that because we're building this strong foundation and people love us and we're going to make it better and stronger as we go. Everybody looked at us and said, nah, thanks, bro, is a different story, both externally and internally. So could that not be a part of this as well?
Yeah, I do think there was some like...
It is.
Yeah, I do think there was some to what you're saying, like the Apex thing. Like I asked them about that, right? Because I said, you don't have EA's backing, you don't have EA's marketing dollars, and you have this disastrous event that happened at the Game Awards. So like my expectation is that you guys aren't going to go off like gangbusters on day one. And they were like, yeah, that's our expectation too. We think that even without the Game Awards thing, we probably wouldn't have been that just because our game is complicated. You have to learn it. Like, it's a 1.0 version of kind of this new type of game mode we want to build. And like, they had all these nice things that they said that made me think that they were thinking about this in the right way. And so either there were money people who were like, no, or they didn't plan that into their business plan. But like, if there were money people, the money people should have been aligned with the expectation of that's how they were going to build the game, because we've seen that you can turn a No Man's Sky 1.0 into the one you see today. It takes time, it takes investment, It takes
No Man's
believing
Sky
in your
has a
game.
different story because that was a sold product and they sold a bunch on day one.
Yeah,
right. They had a
they
big
did sell a
bucket of
bunch,
money
so
come
they
in.
had money, but I don't know. It's I'm sure that the dollars made here on a free to play game that was selling like skins is probably not fantastic, but it's just a bad business plan if you didn't plan on having that gap. You had no, belief in your game and your ability to kind of turn that around. It bums me out, man. And we don't know how deep the cuts were exactly, but they described it as a skeleton crew. That's not.
Yeah,
that's not what you need when it is a game you're trying to develop and turn around. Like I wonder the strategy here. I would be fascinated to interview the people that are still at the company, but
like I said, the designers that posted about getting fired said more than one said like, hey, we had content in the pipeline that will not get made now. Like,
I know.
They made,
their live service roadmap was crazy. A new character every 2 months. That's so fast for a live service game. New map every 2 months. Like, yeah, I was very heartened by that, and that's clearly not going to happen. And so the question is, how do you turn around your game if you're not? That's the best way to kill a live service is to not support it. Yeah, I think it is.
The game's dead. I mean, looking right now, and again, to Hoag's point, we don't like to take Steam. I think people put too much weight in Steam charts.
They do.
But as some sort of just minor insight, at peak in the last day, and keep in mind, it's Sunday morning as we're recording, so you're talking about your peak time of the week. It hit 2,300 players. I mean, it's dead, man. This game is done.
The thing is, you're hurting yourself too, because like if you liked Highguard, if you were one of the people who thought maybe that you will check in every once in a while and play when there's new content, which I could see myself doing because
I was actually put
time. Yeah, I put time to the game. You put time to the game. Like it's worth checking out every once in a while. Log on.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you spend money or time on that now after seeing the headlines that you've seen and knowing that that's down? Like you're not going to buy the skins that they're putting out because the skins are possibly going to go away in a couple months.
You don't
when
trust
they shut
them.
down the servers.
Yeah,
exactly. So like all you're doing with this move is making it way less likely that you're going to retain any type of player base, because why would they get invested in this thing that seems like it's cratering? So feels real bad. I think that they made a good game. I think it could have been a better game if they developed it. And
meanwhile, you know what keeps sailing along? I know you do, gentlemen.
Skull and Bones.
Don't say
Skull and Bones still sailing along.
See, say what you will about Skull and Bones, and I certainly have. That is a company that for some reason believes in that product. They do.
Ubisoft sticks with their crap. They stuck with For Honor. They stuck with Siege. They stick with Skull and Bones. Ubisoft is ready to stick with crap.
They do. For
all
Honor
their
negatives
was big though. Yeah, but they do. Either I think they're still even supporting that extreme sports game that we reviewed.
They do. Riders Republic.
Yeah. Riders Republic. Yeah.
Yeah. For Honor's on season they're on year 9 or something. It's crazy. How they support their games.
You can join me on the high seas whenever you like, gents.
I still have the copy I bought. I still never played it.
Why? I've told you it's an enjoyable experience. You won't.
It is a perfectly adequate game if you're playing
games.
with a group of friends. But yeah, it is not. Games. You don't have to.
But yeah, I uninstalled Highguard, and not to belabor this point any further, but to what you were saying, Travis, a good example, because I'm well invested in this game, is the finals, in the sense that it blew up at launch. Like it launched with hundreds of thousands of concurrents or millions of concurrents across all platforms. Then after season 2, 3, it had a pretty big dip, and Embark's founder and CEO spoke about this in one of their recent documentary things when they were talking about Arc Raiders and finals. And he basically said that we realized we had to go back and think about, okay, how do we keep players engaged in this universe and kind of get them to see the vision that we have for this game? And they took several months of development and kind of rethought a lot of the systems, how they're going to do seasons, the content they were providing. And since season 6, I think, it's just been on the up and up. And they had their grand major and everything. But he obviously knew you got to stick with this, and you got to sit down and really think about how do we get our players engaged and what do we build to do that. And they did that. Yeah. And Highguard's never going to get that chance, which sucks.
You want to talk about believing in your product? Overwatch. You guys see
another one
this week?
Wait, are you suggesting
Overwatch
in their product?
2 or now Overwatch?
They can't decide what number that game is.
I mean, say what you will. That strategy is actually a really good strategy. Like,
but it's work because it's blown up this week too.
Exactly. Announcing that you're removing the 2 from the game and you realize that you made a mistake with the sequel and adding 5 new characters and having a roadmap for 5 additional ones and getting all these influencers and stuff to play the characters early and talk about it. Like, that is a game that they could have just let die. And they were like, no, we know there's something here. And they invested the time in it. They made all this content and now they're having a coming out party. Granted, their coffers are basically limitless, but like, that strikes me as you believe in the product enough to like fix it and reinvest in it. And I think it's paid off. I mean, I am
too busy not believing in Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, fair. But I'm seeing a lot of people in my life talk about Overwatch again and playing.
No, me too. They're back to like 75-80% of their peak from from years ago. Like,
is that true? Wow.
It is 100% true.
Oh, I'm telling you, dude, it exploded. Like, that cat guy is like TikTok fuel.
So just
all right. Well, now we know what Bungie's going to do to break the glass in case of emergency. Right. They're going to strip that Destiny 2 off and relaunch Destiny.
And then you can play.
So to put in perspective, 5 days ago, the peak of Overwatch. I'm just looking at the thing here. When Reign of Talon Season 1 hit 58,000 concurrent on Steam. After this announcement, the next day, it had 160. It tripled. And it's maintaining a good bulk of that right now as we speak. So
that Blizzard sequence of fireside chats is going well for them.
Yeah,
no kidding. Yeah, they had a good week.
They had a pretty devious marketing strategy. Like, they had a ton of people on their campus playing this game and gave them like the full thing. Who did I see? Oh, I saw Baby No Money on their campus playing Overwatch when I was there.
I don't.
Is that somebody I should know who you're talking about?
Oh my God, you guys are ancient. My God,
we are seasoned.
Anyway, Baby No Money is a very well-known Canadian rapper, and he's awesome. And he was on campus just like chilling. So like I don't know, they're whoever does I actually know who does their PR. So, but their PR people are very good at what they do, creating hype for their game.
Yeah, they had a hell of a week, no doubt. Blizzard did. But we got one late super chat we're going to get to here from our good friend Jeremy Morton.
Oh, Jeremy recommended. Oh, I see.
Yeah, Jeremy.Morton, $10 super chat. Catching up, I was hoping I wasn't overselling TR49 by mentioning immortality, smiling emoticon.
For the record, Jeremy, I didn't mention your name when I said who recommended the game because I don't like to share anything in DMs unless somebody does it like you just did right now. So thank you for the recommendation. I do appreciate it. And TR49, I recommend to everybody watching this broadcast. Excellent, excellent game.
I can't see TR49 without thinking it's a model of power armor. I don't know why. That's just what's popping in my head.
So that name, the reason I can remember it is it does mean something, but it's all in the game.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
EA
Jeremy,
Sport,
thank you, my friend.
It's in the game.
Thank you for the super chat. Good to see you. Hope you're well. All right. We've gone a little long today, longer than usual. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up. A great discussion, boys. Community, you've been awesome as always. Let me close out here on the SG side of the house. What do we have on the SG side of the house? We got we'll have reviews up or articles up in the next couple days on Reanimal, Crizzle, which is the latest Blumhouse game. It's like a
Crizzle.
First-person
shooter.
Snoop
Dogg game.
Yeah,
no,
it's really good.
And
it's actually a snack. Snoop Dogg crisps.
I know Brian's also writing an article on Cairn as well, which he's really enjoyed. So we'll have that up all this week. And then I think that's it. Travis, I'll pass to you first this week since you got stuff going on.
Yeah, you can check out my review of High on Life 2 on IGN.com. I also finished my final review of Highguard hours before the studio shuttered, which is fantastic news for everyone. So you can see that. I've also, there was some news about Diablo 2 Resurrected and no previews.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I'll have some other coverage of other games coming soon. My next review is Styx, the third Styx game. I'm going to be a goblin stealthing around. That'll be fun. And then I think I'm reviewing Toxic Commando this week after that, which I'm very excited for. And that all happens before
John Carpenter's Toxic Commando. Or
John Carpenter's Toxic Commando.
Okay.
How could I forget John Carpenter? John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, and then after that, Marathon. So I've got a very busy month. I've also got some previews I can't talk about, and coming up very soon here is my favorite show event of the year, GDC, which happens in my hometown of San Francisco, and I am going to have a ton of stuff to talk about then, because I've already got a calendar full of appointments that week that I cannot wait to
Those
play.
are always some awesome design videos that come out of GDC, like at random intervals throughout the rest of the year.
Love GDC. I love it.
I wish I had time to come out, man.
If you could make it, man, Day of the Devs is the weekend before, and if you've never been to Day of the Devs, it is a life-changing experience.
I love that video.
Yeah, it is a indie developer showcase that is put on by Double Fine, and it is a truly magical experience where everyone in the industry comes together and just hangs out and goes to a baseball game afterward, and it is a wonderful, wonderful thing. So
I will tell you, I watch almost all the directs with my daughters, Nintendo videos, everything in between, and the one that my oldest likes the most is when there's a Day of the Devs.
Yeah,
nice.
So we're doing. I'm hanging out with some IGN folks, and then we may or may not be doing like a RPG campaign afterward. That is DM'd by some head of studios. So it's gonna be it's gonna be a very fun weekend. I'm super stoked.
Cool, that's great. Hope, what you got, man?
Yes, I'm not doing any video game reviews. I'm not invited to any parties that are headed by any studio executives of any kind. But I did want to mention another game that I've been playing.
What about BB No Money? You going to his?
Be my close. Do you say BB No Money?
Yeah. Is it not BB No Money?
It is Baby No Money.
Okay, sorry.
Absolute hermits. What is wrong with you?
Well, the point I was making is that when I come up with the Hogs Notes games, always try to not do my homework and only sit here and try to remember what it is that I was playing, because that's what was most impactful to me. But I did forget a game that I was actually really enjoying this week that I wanted to mention to folks that maybe slid under your radar, because it is, as I think I saw described on social media, the most blockbuster rental game that has ever existed. But I have been playing Mario Tennis Fever, and it is much better of a tennis game than I had expected from the Mario Does Sports genre. So if you're at all interested in playing Mario Tennis, this one has specialty rackets, Fever rackets, that's where the name comes from, and a jillion characters, and really feels like a mashup of like the old Sega Virtual Tennis games and something a lot more zany and Mario oriented. So I really, really like it. Really surprised at how much I'm enjoying it. A lot of content there, a lot of stuff to earn. And I thought I would mention that as something worth doing if you're interested in Mario sports games at all.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that, because that's usually why I am not having that is usually why I'm not interested. So hearing that it's got more of that actual tennis flavor actually interests me more.
Way better than I thought it would be.
I worded that extremely poorly, but you know what I mean.
I do.
Yeah. All right. We're going to get out of here. We've had a longer show today, so we're going to get out. But audience, thank you as always. Anyone checking in later, thank you as always as well. We appreciate you, and we will be back next Sunday with more game talk, of course. Enjoy your week in gaming, and we will see you then. Peace.
Plumage.